it was just a lot to deal with. And then when he passed, there was tons of guilt on my part, like maybe I should have done more. So I went through a whole lot. Let me just go back a bit. 4 years ago when he had a stroke, I had come out of the room and I saw him, he was sitting on the ground in front of the restroom. So I was like, what are you doing on the ground? And then he looks up at me and then he looks away. And then I realized that he was sitting on the ground and he had soiled himself. He had peed all over himself. So at that point, I ran out and I got help, and we got to the hospital and, we now realized he slipped into a coma. And he had a stroke, right? Wow. But what had happened before that, I didn't know. Because I only just found him. But this one, he woke up from sleep and he was stretching, his eyes were bulging. So I was like, could this be stroke 2.0? I didn't know what to think. So, this was like 10:30 at night. Kids had already come because they dropped their tabs with him. And, he turns off the Wi-Fi and then they hug him good night, 8 o'clock every night. So they had done that, they had gone to bed. So this is me running out to the kids' room, waking them up from sleep. My son didn't even wake up, it was my daughter that woke up. She now around with me, I was like, come, something's happening to your daddy, I don't know, stay with him so I can go run out and get the neighbors to get help. So by the time I came back with my daughter, he had already slipped into like a coma or whatever. So this is me running out to the malams on the streets. The security that guards us and the two that guard two houses in front. So I run to them and I grab them. I say, come. They came into the room and they were just standing there looking at me. Maybe they thought it was dead or I don't know. I was telling them, no, we need to get him to the hospital because it's key. This had happened before and we had to take him quickly.
Time is very important.
They didn't do anything.
Wow.
So it was later they were telling me they thought they had passed and because they were Muslim, they didn't want to touch him. So at that point, I told them to get out. And I ran again to the back of the house, another neighbor. He now came, spoke Hausa to them. And then my husband was big at the time he passed. It took literally like 8 people to get him out. So I couldn't lift him. The 4 people couldn't lift him. They had to go to the main gate to get like the security at the main gates, the 2 gates. And they came into all this time, maybe like 10-15 minutes had passed. So there was a lot of time we wasted just trying to
get him.
Eventually, we had to break a table and put him on the table, and they had to drag the table, and then they were. That night was just a nightmare. And then so my neighbor has like a food truck, so they loaded him up to the back of a food truck, and then this is me driving with the kids at night behind the truck to the first hospital. Doctor had gone home. Second hospital, they checked, they said, look, you have to get to the general hospital in Marina. I'm like, at what time? This is almost like 11:30. But anyway, let's go. Before someone now said, you know what, there's another hospital. I don't know if I can mention Vedic, just around the corner. So we get to Vedic. And by the time we got there, luckily, their emergency services are they're stellar. They came out with everything. We could hear his pulse. It was very faint. So even at that time, I never thought he would die. My whole point was I was even telling the kids, at least now your daddy will change his life. I mean, nobody will tell you after the second stroke. So my prayer was just, at least we're here. Let's get him in. So they did everything. They did it just like when you watch a movie, like, and they're trying to resuscitate someone that's passed or is about to die, chest compressions, adrenaline injections, his chest, defibrillator, everything, and then the next thing they were calling me inside. They said the doctor called me inside. I didn't even know at that time he had passed. They didn't want to tell me. What meds is he on? What's, they just wanted to know his history. Since, we're just bringing him in as emergency patient. Yeah. Yes. So we did that and he just said, okay, wait, just relax, chill. And then his cousin, the next thing I saw, his cousin came and said, Funmi, Onome has passed. I can't tell you what happened after that. I can't tell you what happened after that. All I know is I heard my son screaming, no, daddy can't go. Daddy can't be dead, And then...
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm good. And then a whole loss. It's just like a blur for me now. So Yeah, so it's just been crazy, and there's nobody ever prepares you for death. Not even in school. I feel they should just add it to
Marriage
you,
counseling.
yeah, and everything. Just your socialization in general. That's you have to. Death is a natural part of. At least they teach kids about sex education and crazy stuff. I see my kids bring home. I mean, can you just mention that death is also a part of life. It will happen. Children die, adults die, old people die. Because I think what screws up us the most is when we have this perfect picture in our heads of how our lives are supposed to be, and then it doesn't turn out like that. So that really throws you off balance. So it's been hard. It's been incredibly difficult. Sometimes I think I could just go, the extreme and just, drink a bottle of wine every night, or I could just stay sane and stay prayed up and, just know that the kids need me and I have to be,
there for
so
them.
Yeah, it's really hard. I read something somewhere like grief never ends, but it changes. For me, it hasn't changed. It's still the same level. I've never had to use the word despair before. But almost like I'm in a constant state of despair. The uncertainty of
the
future is so scary. When it's just a little thing of just saying, okay, I'm in the house, I'm locked up for the night, but there's a man here in case anything happens. I don't have that. I'm driving from work, something happens to the car. I'll just leave the car, I'll call the mechanic, sort it out, call me, I know, but that's not there. My kids don't have a father figure. My daughter going to have daddy issues, God forbid. My son doesn't have someone to look up to, role model. Who's going to play his video games with him? I don't care about that stuff. There's a whole lot that I have to think about constantly. But everybody says take it an hour at a time. You can't overthink things. And then it's just the daily things, just around the house. Even simple things like buying fuel, just even knowing how many kegs of fuel we have. And he used to tell me every time, he would say, you think it's the fairies that keep the Netflix and the Wi-Fi going and the electricity and, the light goes off and, turn on the gen, and then there's no gas and suddenly gas shows up in the kitchen, He always used to tell me that. Now I see, because I come home every day. My mom has been great. She's helping out with the kids while I'm at work. I come home and they say, oh, mommy, the Wi-Fi is gone. I'm like, great. You have to wait so that I can do Wi-Fi and Netflix on the same day, because I can't do Wi-Fi today. And then, because now I see why I used to be so cranky about that stuff. But but we need Wi-Fi now. What's up? It's like, no, let's wait till 2, but we can't wait 2 days. I can't be offline, So now I'm having to tell the kids, no, we have to do Netflix and Wi-Fi on the same day. It's too much. I can't cope, So it's just... It's just horrible. It's just the worst thing. It's just the worst thing. It's hard. It's just hard. So even work is supposed to be a distraction.
For you.
Funny story. So there I was at work, because usually we have this routine. If I go somewhere, like when I came here today, I would have called him outside and said, look, I'm here. I'm fine. And he'll say, how long will you be? I was like, I don't know. When I'm leaving, I'll call you. So I get to work on this day, and I just had the feels, and I was like, I have nobody to call and say,
I'm at work.
Yeah, I'm at work. I can't call him. And I had my headphones on. I was listening to some nice gospel jams. So I didn't know. I thought I was crying silently. So I didn't know that I was sniffing, and everybody in the office had stopped what they did. In fact, a couple of people, I said, Funmi, are you okay? And I didn't even hear. So I was bent over on my table, and I was just slowly dabbing. And then I just took my phone. I saw 3 messages from 3 of them. Like, are you okay? Are you fine? Do you need us to get anything for me? I was like, oh my God. You can't be crying in the office. This is just ridiculous. You can't be crying. And I don't want them to pity me. And I hate that look when you tell someone and he's like, oh, sorry. And they're moving to hug you.
And how is your life going to be now?
Ooh, I'm not ready for this now. I'm trying to keep a brave face and, and just, just pretend, having to, just pretend to be happy, especially with the kids. A lot of people told me a long time, don't let them see you cry, don't let them see you sad, because they were there. So
there's no way, there's no way you are going to hide any sadness from them.
We all went through that process together. I mean, see what you guys did for us. You guys so you don't know what you did for us, just getting out of the house for a few days. I didn't know how important that was. Because by the time we came home, after that wonderful perfect holiday you guys provided for us. It was jarring again. It was just to be in that space again. You know, we're waking up from the same bed. We're waking up in the same room because they sleep with me now, and that's how it's going to be forever. I don't care. At night I hear them fighting on the bed. Move.
We're all here together.
We're on this bed till you guys are grown and college. That's it. I don't care. This is where we'll be in this room because I can't imagine them sleeping in their own room again. You know, so it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I still haven't moved any of his things. They're all there. His corner that I used to fight him for because I'm the OCD person that has everything arranged in a certain way around the house. He's the one that literally takes his trousers off, steps away from it, and just keeps going. So, and it kills me. It's like, how can you be, you know, like
just
this?
pick it up.
Yeah. And then so many, and you know, bottles of water in his corner. But it was just that kind of person. It wasn't, you know. So we balanced each other out like that, you know. I mean, it's the little things around the house, things that, you know, just remind... Okay, there was something, you used to have like a pet peeve for some weird reason. I know, very random, but I just have to share the bathroom door. Doesn't like securely close. That's in the master bedroom, our room. So every time anyone goes to the bathroom, it could be me, it could be the kids, it will always tell us, shut the bathroom door. Like now, nobody has to tell us. We instinctively do that now. So every time I do that double lock, it's like you're not even here and we're still doing it, like, you know. So it's just weird. He's everywhere around the house. I feel him every time I take a shower. Sorry, random. He always has to help me wash my back. I can do it myself, you know, but I always like him to just come here because I do his as well. So it's just everything. And then I can't, things I used to like, I used to love to eat. Now I can't eat anymore. I have to remember to eat and tell myself, you need to eat, you know. That's another thing, because I was literally about to eat when he had that seizure, his heart attack and everything. So it's almost like a trigger for me. And I feel like my health has to be like 100, like, you know, like I have to be super healthy. I don't have the strength to work out. I don't work out so much, but I know I'm watching what I eat. Like I haven't had like a soft drink or anything. All the things I used to enjoy, chocolate, you know, Chinese. I mean, Cold Stone was literally around the corner. They just have to tell me, today's buy one, get one free on my phone. I'm like, okay, good, let's order it, right? You know, so all of those things I don't get to do anymore. So, I mean, adjusting, I'm still learning to adjust. I'm still learning to adjust. Grief never ends, it changes. It's not changing for me, you know. I guess it's just it's like the ultimate price for love you have for the person. I can't make myself not feel sad. The person I'm talking to, like almost like giving me therapy, is like, no, you have to be happy at some point, but I can't be happy because he's not here. Like you said, marriage now becomes like your identity. It's almost like, you know, I mean, it's the simplest things. Like I had to intake form at my new job. I was like, you know, Mrs. I'm still Mrs., right?
Yeah.
So it's like, do I end up being a Miss or do I stay Mrs.? You know, so it's like single, married. I still put married because, you know, it's just the little things and it's just hard. It's just hard. Every day you have to wake up and, you know, put makeup on and dress well to the office because you're interfacing with guests. I'm producing a show. I just have to pretend, you know, I got this. Okay. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. Let's do the show and everything. But I'm not okay. But I can't tell you I'm not okay because you're going to side-eye me. Like maybe we shouldn't have, you know, hired Funmi. So you just have to go around the office. Hey, nice shoes. Yeah, you look great. You know, yeah. How are you? And that thing in my head, I'm not fine. I'm great. Matter. Yeah, I have to constantly tell myself I'm fine. You know, but I just want to turn off the lights and just lay under the duvet in the house and just be there the whole day, just depressed. But who does that help? You know, that doesn't help anybody. Nothing is going to come out of that. And at some point, I'll have to come to terms with this. I still haven't come to terms. It's just been 2 months. And maybe, I don't know. I don't know how long I'm traditionally, because it's from Delta State, a couple of his aunties said the wife usually, you know, stays home and mourns for 3 months. But how can I do that? I have to go back to work. Bills? You know, I have to go back to work. I need that for my mental health. I need to I need to wake up every morning with a purpose. I know that, okay, I'm going to work. I'm going to be a good mom. You know, this is my life now. You know, I think that helps. That helps to distract me. It helps to distract me, yeah.
So,
I haven't,
From the parenting side of things,
yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine what it's like. I've only been at the edge of you may lose, and I know how messed up that made me. How do you transition, I mean, from being a two-parent unit to that single parent?
Being the mom and the dad now.
How do you parent the children?
It's been incredibly hard. We always used to share it. I would spend more time with my daughter, and he would just, you know, take my boy and, you know, bond over Arsenal and video games, and, you know. So now I'm just trying to spend more time with him. She's great, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's first of all, he did most of the crying when he passed. My daughter was very chill. She didn't really cry. She only cried that night, and she didn't cry until the funeral. And the funeral, I'm telling you, literally when they were lowering the casket. And for some reason, I just looked corner of my eye and I saw her crying. I was like, thank God she's crying. I don't know why that
because you needed her to grieve.
Yeah, because I was wondering why she, because I was worried about her. Like, why is she not crying? And then she told me, if it was you, I would want to die. I was like, oh, okay, I see. Is that mother and daughter bond and that thing? So so how I'm trying to balance just spend more time with my son.
So now do you do the things that dad used to do with him?
I mean, I still don't play video games. If you watch my social media, I say I'm a gamer, but I'm not, because social media isn't real. It's just like an avatar. I told you, I mean, I'm an introvert. I'm lying in my bed and I'm posting beautiful pictures. I'm like, that's not even me. So I left home today, and because he just finished his junior YX, so he has a long holiday. So as I was leaving, he was playing his video game. So I just let him have his time, be himself, and I try to spend more time with him than I do with my daughter. Just talk to him, how he's feeling, because there's no guy around now. He has my mom with him all day, and then his sister, and then me.
So women.
Exactly, it's just him. So we just talk. So I kind of bribe him with things. He's like, what do you want? It's like, he wants a PS5. He wants more games. He wants this. He wants a watch. He wants some Snickers. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. His birthday's coming up. So, so that's why I know it's going to be hard. I don't know what to do. Sometimes I'm just flustered. I don't know what to do with them. I really don't know. Because I am the disciplinarian, I'm the one that's, I'll
you lay the law.
Look, while you're still trying to explain, I've tapped you nicely on your eye. This is my side, because I almost want to leave, like, give you a slap or something. And every time I did that, because Onome was never punished as a child, it's weird, because his parents would never beat him. Said the only time he could recall his dad hitting him was when he ran behind the car and his dad was trying to park. So he came out of the car and he hit him like, do you want me to kill you, or hit you with the car? So for me, my mom used to be the kind of person I'll tell you, go and bring the cane. And you bring it, she'll flog you, and then you take the cane back. You know, that kind of thing. Or my dad used to make us, kneel down, raise up our hands. And so I'm that kind of, spare the rod, spoil the child type of person. So now I've chilled more. I don't, because in my mind I'm like, no, I don't think we've had any issues since the past. I just talk to them and say, what would your daddy want? You guys have to bear with me. I'm going through a lot. I can't deal with this now. Please. So we just kind of talk through, because I know they've had to age maybe 5 years each because of the trauma of what they've been through. So as much as I realize I'm having to process every day, they're processing as well.
Yeah,
they are. They are.
So I think for me, what I'm curious about is, as a mom, and like you said, you guys experienced it at the same time,
right?
And I figure you've not had a break since it happened. And I remember being at the funeral, and I was like, this could have been me. Would I have been prepared? And the minute you broke down while they were lowering the grave, I think I walked away, because I even, as an external person, I couldn't even handle it, because I broke down. I was going through so much at the time. I was like, oh God, so if this was it, is this, and just going through that experience with you, I'm now thinking to myself, at what point now have you been able to is it compartmentalize or just internalize because at every given point the kids are with you.
Right.
The kids need you, but you need yourself.
I do.
So
how
like have you been able to? Because it's still fresh.
Very fresh. Very, very fresh. Let me tell you what I hated the most about the funeral. At some point, I wished everybody would leave and just give me time with him and the kids. It felt like
you were choked.
Yes, it felt like this was the
wasn't
worst day of my life, and I had to share it with an
everybody.
audience. I could. That was the worst thing. I just needed 5 minutes just to talk to him. Like, why are we rushing to lower this casket? Like, it's not like there's a line of people to be buried today. As far as I know, he's the only person here. I just wanted 5 minutes just with me, him, and the kids
to say
just
goodbye.
say, this doesn't even make sense. You know, just to be able to... I needed that moment. I feel like people should... I don't know, maybe we don't think about that, you know?
Yeah.
It was a very... It was something that was so private
Yet
to
so
me,
public.
yes, so public, you know, and it was really, it wasn't a good feeling. There were so many things I wanted to say, but I couldn't say. First of all, there were cameras, and I don't know why there were cameras. I don't know who that recording was for, because I'm not going to sit back and ever watch that. And it was weird because every time I would break down, it was almost like, oh, wow, awesome. And then the camera guy comes and he's right in my face. It got to a point I was like, get out. I don't understand. Am I like a circus animal? Like, this a show? Like, I have to put on a show? Like, you know, I didn't even know what to think. It was just...
It was a lot.
It was just a lot. And I just feel like, I don't know, maybe in funerals, people need to put that into consideration and just, okay, let's give the family some time, pay your last respects, and everybody just give, you know, the immediate family time to say their proper goodbyes, and, you know, and then just,
like they took the moment away from you.
There was no moment. There was no moment. I couldn't, it was just a loss. First of all, nobody wants to see their husband in a casket. So sitting in church the whole time, and that's what I was staring at. Is in the casket, like how? Like, how is he in the casket? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Even the service of songs didn't make sense, because the hall that we used, last time I was in the hall, I was there for a wedding. So it just even makes sense to be there for a service of songs. It was just ridiculous. So the whole time I'm in my head, I'm saying, okay, this is not real. It's not even happening. It can't be real. Like, why am I here, you know? So I'm still having to process that, and then everything is happening, and it's happening so fast, and it's like, okay, now we have to go bury him. Now they're lowering the casket. Now, you know, it was just so many things happening. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Do you think you had any? I mean, you know, there's that whole thing where we spoke about where nobody tells you.
Yeah.
You know, and you mentioned how, you know, you think it should be part of the curriculum or something. People just need to know.
Yeah. People need to know that death happens. Yeah. Death happens to everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a child or, you know, you're an adult or you're an old person. And to say you're going to live to, even in my head, I still have a number in my head, and it's 95. I don't know why. That's so weird, right? I feel like I'm going to live to 95. I'm going to be old. I'm going to be laying on the bed. I'm going to be smiling, and I'm going to see all my grandkids, great-grandkids around me, and, you know, it's going to be awesome, and they all say goodbye, and they won't, you know, cry. And I would have lived a wonderful, full life, you know, so...
But if I mean, like, how do people prepare?
Whew, that's a tough one. I mean, you guys gave some very valid points. I mean, it helps if you have a will. It helps if you kind of have that conversation with kids. Like for me, I still have both my parents. My dad turned 80 this year. Wow. My mom is still alive. The only person in my family I can remotely think of that, like death, that was close to me was my mom's younger sister. And that was like 10 years ago. You know, so I haven't had like a close person die, you know, that kind of thing. So for me, it was just really jarring. I feel we need to have this conversation. It's something that's just, you know, missing the person and, you know, crying that the person is not here. it's part of the process. But we should always just have it at the back of our minds that every day is precious. Every breath you take could be your last. And, you know, we don't own this life. So we shouldn't expect that, you know, we know how it's going to go. Anything can happen at any time. Try to live your best life every day. To be kind to people, be nice to people. And, you know, just do the best you can, really, because that's all we can do. That's all we can do. Yeah.
So for me, thank you so much
for coming on.
You know,
and sharing and letting us.
This has been great.
letting us into your world and just having a bit of picture of how it's been. And we pray for you that.
Thank you.
We pray for you that you would find strength. You would be able to get the closure that you need.
Yeah.
And also be there for the kids. And like we always say, if there's anything that you need, we're always here. We're support
I appreciate
system.
you so much. You guys have been awesome. You have no idea everything. I mean, it's just the love, and for me, it's just been a thought that matters. You know, when people can take time, because everybody's going through something right now, regardless of, you know, and for people to take their time to, you know, to just find out how you're doing. It's such a huge thing for me, and I really appreciate it. And for anybody watching, you know, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And it's okay to cry. I mean, this is me. I'll cry in the bathroom like I almost can't breathe. And then I come out and then I'm, you know, singing a gospel song after. It's a process. It's like this. I have my days. I have good days. I have okay days. And I have days I just can't bear. Yeah. So, yeah, it happens like that. And, you know, it's a process. We'll all be fine. Eventually. Thank you. This has been great. I mean, it helps.
Thank you
so much for coming. Thank you guys for watching. There's so many takeaways from that. I don't really think there's anything else that we need to add to it. We'll catch you guys next time
on Love and Everything in Between. Thank you guys. Your years of experience. Your years of experience. Someone is vibrating.
Because I'm really animated. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not wearing my Apple.
You're not the water girl.
Okay. Your talent is not going to pay you when we're done.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm very animated when it's good therapy for me because
you haven't really spoken about it.
I haven't said